If USA Today wrote an article about who could be the Big 12's breakout offensive player of the year, when talking about Kyson Brown, they would probably misspell his name and then mention how there's no way that Arizona State could have another breakout player considering Cam Skattebo left.
Happy Tuesday, and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. Of course, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always by the one, the only Erik Ruby, also known as Chicken Little, also known as Professor Oates.
I mean, this is peak blind mouse hours.
This is peak blind mouse hours for sure. We've got Erickson behind the Mac, the freckled mamba, if you will. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, you hit the subscribe button, and you drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Rubus, normally this is an Arizona State podcast, right?
I would say actually pretty much all the time.
Pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
Not sometimes, most of the time.
I would say like 99% of the time.
Now, what conference does Arizona State find itself in?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's
a great question.
I mean, you're going to have to come back to me on that one.
Okay. Can I give you...
Actually, depends on the sport.
I guess that's fair. Oh, my goodness. It's
Arizona
in the Big
State?
12, okay?
Oh,
It's in the Big 12. It's in the Big 12.
Well, that's fun.
Having some technical difficulties at
yes,
times. We'll see
Sharon,
if we can get that.
I got a haircut, and apparently the camera doesn't like it.
Yeah, the camera's saying absolutely
the camera
not.
is saying
We're not gonna
no
be doing
signal for that today. Yes,
Okay.
I went to Totri's barber because I've been in desperate need of finding a consistent barber.
How was he?
He was great. Said he never seen you before. Said he had no clue who you were.
Oh yeah.
No, it was great. Shout out to Leo. Enjoy it. This is the one of probably 5 days out of the calendar year where I will not be wearing a hat on air. So
I love it. Absolutely love it. Look, getting back to the conference at hand, the Big 12, right? We're still several months away from the 2025 season, but spring football is behind us, which means it's time to talk about some breakout players, not just for Arizona State in 2025, but for everybody in the Big 12. I think some of these rosters certainly have some guys that are capable of showing up and showing out any given Saturday for their respective teams. But of course, Rubus, before we get to every single other team in this conference, we got to talk about the man that's going to be having a breakout season for the Arizona State Sun Devils, the one, the only, Kyson Brown.
I think there's a couple candidates here, but Kyson,
I would agree.
Kyson for sure. I think you could even throw Kanye in there as
Whoever's the starting running back.
Whoever's getting the lion's share of touches at running back. But it's so exciting to think about what the trajectory of Kyson Brown could be, especially when you look at, beyond just offensive positions, but positions at ASU, players who have either been playing for a couple of years who then stepped into a big role and start contributing, or somebody who's been behind in the depth chart and then finally is getting their time to shine. And it just feels like it's Kyson Brown's time. And beyond the formalities of it feels like it's his time, and he has an opportunity without Cam Skattebo. He's a damn good running back. He's an all-around package type of guy. He's strong. He's fast. He can do it all. And it would not be surprising to me if 3, 4, 5 weeks into the season, people are talking about, is Kyson Brown one of the best running backs in the Big 12?
Yeah, I 100% agree. This is a guy that's been behind Cam Skattebo for the last couple of seasons, so it makes sense why, if you haven't been keeping up with Arizona State, then you probably haven't heard the name Kyson Brown, the backup, again, to Scat for the last couple of years. But this is a guy that's been really committed to Kenny's vision, right? He certainly had every opportunity to leave after the 2023 year when this program was down and out, when Scat said that he was going to be coming back, when they added a young running back from the recruiting class in Jason Brown Jr., when they added Raleek Brown, when they added Alton McCaskill, like Kyson Brown had every opportunity to leave. But last year had 73 carries for 351 yards, so about 4.8 yards per carry. Also a weapon in the passing game, right? 13 catches, 189 receiving yards and a touchdown, which is, I think, a big part as to why I think he can be so successful at ASU this season is because Cam Skattebo hurt you a number of different ways, right? He wasn't just somebody that was going to run through you. He wasn't somebody that was just going to run around you. He was somebody that was going to beat you in the ground game. He was going to beat you in the passing game. He was going to beat you on special teams. Like, he was going to beat you up and down the field at any position.
Any way that he could actively do it,
right?
He did it.
And that's why I think Kyson Brown opted to stay at Arizona State, right? Is because he learned from a guy like Cam Skattebo. He loves his running back coach in Sean Aguano. Is there a competition for who is going to be that lead running back at Arizona State between Kyson and Kanye Udo? Yeah, absolutely. But I think Kyson Brown, regardless of who ultimately is RB1, is going to get enough touches to where it feels like he is a difference maker on this team week in and week out.
Absolutely. Even if it's, 50-50, obviously spread it out because you got Raleek and everything as well. But as far as 50-50 for RB1 carries, he's still going to make a difference.
Yeah.
And you saw him make a difference in his carries last season, 73 for 351 yards, almost about 5 per carry, 13 receptions, 189 yards and a touchdown. Of course, stepping up when Skattebo wasn't there. And it's hard to be that guy because you also have a DeCarlos Brooks as well. Because with DeCarlos Brooks, it's, okay, you've been around. Mm-hmm. Like, you're also a veteran. You have just such a stacked running back room that when you don't know when you're getting your touches, it takes a certain type of mentality to be able to continue to convert off of those.
Yeah.
To be able to make the most of your moment. And there are some players that will go through for the rest of the candidates for a Big 12 Offensive Breakout Player of the Year. But those players made the most of their opportunity. Mm-hmm. And Kyson Brown has worked. And it's very much like an Arizona State story to work with the opportunities you're given and then to earn the big time opportunity and to make the most out of that.
Yeah.
Kenny always says, you're not promised anything. Nobody's promised a starting position. Nobody's promised playing time. And for these freshmen and for like a Jason Brown Jr., right? And when you bring in fresh faces that could leave after 1 year, could see a stacked running back room and get out of there. But if they see Kyson Brown this season go on to have immense success, be one of the best running backs in the Big 12 and an integral part of being back-to-back Big 12 champions plus some, they're going to see the path. Okay, I can come here, I can grow, I can develop, I can focus on my education, I could be a well-rounded person. And then, our camera is just on one today.
Yeah, we apologize for any technical difficulties. Again, we're working on that.
Got a little glimpse of Ayrton there as well.
Just the frustration in Ayrton's face.
Ayrton's like, Shane just had to be in Europe, huh?
Oh my goodness.
Shane just had to be in Europe. Good. But if you show that path the same way that Cam Skattebo shows the path of transferring, earning it, being through a bad season, then if you're coming in as a freshman, you're not getting playing time. That might turn you off in some cases.
Yeah.
Not the type of people that Arizona State recruits, but when you see somebody go out there and actually improve and earn that spot and see success and whatever Kyson sees beyond that, that's going to be a very big selling point to players already in the system and for new players as well that you're recruiting.
Yeah, I think something that could really help Kyson in terms of having a breakout season is the fact that everyone is going to be so hyper-focused on Sam and Jordan Tyson in this offense this year that, yes, is Arizona State going to still run the ball a hefty amount? Absolutely. But the focus isn't going to be on the backfield, I don't think, the way that it was last season with Cam. Right? Because you have a top 5 quarterback wide receiver in the country, potentially the number 1 quarterback wide receiver duo in college football this year. So it's certainly going to create some opportunities for Kyson, but a number of other players on this list, specifically offensive breakout players in the Big 12.
Is there anybody else on ASU before that? William in the chat says Jaron Hamilton will have a breakout year. Who is giving Kyson a run for his money as far as maybe the breakout player for ASU this year?
Offensively?
On offense, yes. We'll get to defense later.
Oh, man. I would say offensively.
What is going on?
I have no idea what's happening with the camera right now.
I've never listen, man. I've been a producer too. I've never seen anything like this happen before.
What's currently going on right now.
Yeah.
I would say offensively, if there was anyone that's going to give Kyson Brown a run for his money in terms of like offensive breakout player of the year, I think Jaron Hamilton is certainly a name to bring up. I think you can make an argument for AJ Ia at the tight end position. He's somebody that, again, I think is going to play more than people think. And then Jalen Moss as well at wide receiver. I think he's somebody that had a really strong couple of years at Fresno State. And I'm excited to see what he does in this offense again with all the attention on Jordan Tyson and Sam Levitt.
Does Kanye like belong in that conversation, or is he somebody that he's had 1,000 yards on a?
Yeah, I don't think we can say he's like even
breakout on a Power 4 level.
Exactly.
Though,
Well, yeah. I mean, but even if he is named the starting running back, I don't think he's going to get the love that Kyson's getting in terms of like, oh, breakout player of the year. Because again, like you said, 1,000 rushing yards last year, 10 plus touchdowns. He's been in these moments. He can. We know he's capable of doing it.
Right.
So I don't think he'd get that same love. But regardless, I love both these guys as starting backs for ASU. I think they're both very special players that really give the ASU offense kind of different ways to attack defenses.
Yeah, death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
Sharon says, based on what you've said and what other reports have said, really sounds like AJ Ia could be that guy.
Yeah. I mean, he
could be that guy.
He's that guy.
He could be that guy this year. He could be a weapon this year, and then he could be that guy.
He's that guy
in the next couple of years.
AJ's that guy. I'm here to tell you. Do you know AJ's that guy?
Do you think AJ could fix our camera?
I don't know if he could. I'll tell you who's not that guy. Elgato.
Ayrton's that guy. Noah's that guy, because we have no idea what is going on with this. I've never seen this before. So thank you all for bearing with us. Maybe it draws people's attentions back to the screen because it goes fully black, So anyways.
Gets people to like re-lock in.
Yes, relock in. Relock in with PHNX Sun
Relock
Devils.
in with us every time the Elgato freaks out.
Every time the Elgato freaks out.
Oh my gosh. Moving on from Kyson to a player that is maybe a breakout player, not just in the conference, but in the country.
Wow.
Devon Dampier. The new quarterback for Utah, transferring from, I believe, New Mexico. This kid is a special talent. I know there's knocks on him, like for his size, he's a little bit shorter than you like for a quarterback. Last year, completed 57.9% of his passes, so below what you'd like to see, right? But 2,768 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, 12 INTs, and now you're probably like,
it's a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, you're like, well, what does this kid do well if he's having a 1-to-1 touchdown INT ratio? Well, he is a massive threat on the ground. 155 carries, over 1,100 rushing yards, and 19 touchdowns. Coupled, obviously, with what he did as a passer. He's going to get better. He's a young quarterback. Utah hasn't had a young quarterback.
They haven't, a mobile quarterback like this since...
was Cam mobile when he first got there 8 years ago?
I was about to say, that was like 1994.
I guess Zach Wilson's little brother.
But he doesn't count. He doesn't count. I'm talking like because this is obviously their guy. He's going to be starting. He's not a backup, whatever. Have they had somebody this mobile in the past 10 years?
Ooh, I don't know. Cam Rising's been there just about 10 years. He's been there almost a decade. I'm going to be honest. I don't even remember. It's been so long. Who was the quarterback prior to Cam Rising being there?
This is not what I wanted. I don't want the top 10 of all time. I just want
who was before Cam Rising, pretty much.
Yeah, list of Utah Utes.
Look, this kid.
What was Cam Rising's first year at Utah? Sorry, go ahead.
No, he does a lot of really, really talented things. Again, on the ground, this is a competitor. This is somebody that can make every throw that you really need a quarterback to make in this conference. He can do it on the run. He's got one of the just most disgusting naked bootlegs in the conference. This kid is just he's a dog. That's the best way to put it. And I think Devon is going to really, really elevate this Utah football team back to what they were in the old Pac-12. To be honest with you, that's how good I think this kid can be.
I could see it. I got to rein in the turnover problem.
Yes.
But it does feel like with a system like Utah, they don't do too much either. I'm looking at Tyler Huntley.
Yeah. Tyler Huntley. Wow, I forgot about Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, Tyler Huntley.
We're old. You know that?
Man, what do you know about Drew Lisk?
Drew Lisk. A whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
They don't sort this by position. Come on, guys, get real, man. Get freaking real.
Oh my goodness. This
Anyways,
ain't Mike going crazy with the Cam Rising slayers.
Yeah,
Cam
Rising saved my grandmother. William says Alex Smith was probably the most mobile QB before Dampier. Alex Smith. So that's going to be a completely different look for a Utah offense that needed a kind of a desperate revamping.
It needed a shakeup, man.
Yeah, Cam Rising was on the roster, but it was Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley was their quarterback.
Isn't it crazy Cam Rising was on that roster, though?
In 2019. Yeah, 2019.
Unbelievable.
Cam Rising started college football in 2018.
I was still in college at that time.
I haven't been in college in a while. I was a sophomore in college. I was starting my sophomore year in college. Not to make everybody feel old.
What do you
Except
like?
For Ayrton.
What do you like about what Devon does well?
I mean, obviously the threat to be mobile on the ground is such a massive weapon, and we saw that with Sam Leavitt here at Arizona State, and just what kind of different types of looks you can get when not only your quarterback is running to pick up yards, but also running to scramble and then throw the ball as well. I do think that when you jump up to this level, you're going to need to find a way to use your legs in a different way, more than just, hey, we got 155 carries. I just don't think that that's sustainable out of your quarterback. You need to
not in this conference.
You need to be able to rein that in a little bit more, because you saw like with Sam Leavitt in Texas against Texas, where it was like, okay, you have to use your legs, you have to run, right? You need to not rely on it to run all the time. Use it as a weapon whenever you can. I do like his arm. I just think that accuracy needs to be reined in, because he wasn't throwing against Big 12 talent consistently.
And that's a knock on him, right? Is the size issues leading to turnovers, leading to incomplete passes. But when this kid's on, man, he's a special talent. So, and
who knows? Maybe when you're in a better system
with a bigger offensive line,
with Big 12 offensive weapons, maybe that's going to be what he needs to really take that next step into to step into what he is supposed to be if he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12. Would you say that he has a chance to be a top 4 quarterback in the Big 12?
No.
What do you think his ceiling is?
I don't think so. I think his ceiling is 5, right at 5. I think this conference in terms of top 4 quarterbacks is pretty set in my eyes. You have, of course, Sam Leavitt. You've got Rocco Becht. You've got Avery Johnson. And then throw in either Josh Hoover or Sawyer Robertson. Those are the 4. Devon would have to take Utah to the conference championship.
I think he'd have to up his touchdowns. 2,700 yards is fine. It's good. 12
when you throw in the 1,100
if you have almost 4,000 all-purpose yards, I mean, that's definitely something.
Yeah. He's a talented quarterback.
Yeah,
it's just, I don't think this conference has so many really good quarterbacks that are going to be returning, right? All 4 of the guys that I just brought up are coming back to the same offense that they were in a year ago. So I don't think that he's going to be able to get to that point. Jake Retzloff as well. I'm not as high on Retzloff as some people.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. That's all you can really say about Jake Retzloff. Moving on to a wide receiver, the first wide receiver we're going to talk about, Chase Sowell, the new Iowa State wide receiver transferring from East Carolina. 34 catches for 678 yards and 3 touchdowns last season, averaged nearly 20 yards per catch. Mm-hmm. This kid is a really interesting wide receiver, and it feels like every single blog or anything tweet I read about, this guy or breakout player for this team, whatever, it's always Chase and it's always Iowa State because of what, Higgins and Noel were able to do last year with Rocco.
I mean, that's what they need. That's what they need him to do.
Yeah.
Right. I think that part of it is the fact that he's walking into a situation that just lost 2,000 yards of offense at the position that he plays.
Yeah.
And they're expecting him to just be able to slot in there well. And I don't blame them. I mean, you watch this guy. He's got great hands, good size, speed, can meet the ball wherever it's thrown, navigate through traffic. He can do it all. He's going to be one of the better wide receivers in the Big 12. I think he's going to be really, really good. I get why people are very high on him. And coming from East Carolina, it's easy to say, oh, well, you're playing the Rices of the world, right? I mean, they played SMU.
You're playing the Rices.
You're playing the Rices of the world, right? So I definitely see a path for Chase Sowell to
Bees.
What's up, Bees? Look, 34 receptions, 678 yards, 20 yards per reception, 3 touchdowns. You put that on an Iowa State offense who chugs along like a machine.
Rocco Beck's a dog.
With Rocco Beck throwing the ball. Is it really, you assume he's going to get more than 34 receptions, right? Is it really that hard to assume that he can hit 1,000 yards receiving? It's basically 300 more yards.
I mean, well,
he's 20 yards per carry,
I think,
or per catch, and he needs 300 more yards.
Well, it's the same knock that we had on Devon, right? Is you are not playing the same teams as East Carolina was playing last year.
Sure.
You're playing Big 12 defenses that are, at this point, they've seen Rocco Beck in Iowa State play football before. They've seen him in that offense.
The Big 12 championship.
You are now going to be expected, you're expected to be the number one wide receiver on that team. The guys that came before Chase were both giants, right? We're talking 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". I believe Chase is 6'2".
Yeah.
So he's a little bit smaller than what Iowa State had at the X position last year. Can he be that true number one? Right. That's the question that Will's asking. There's he's going to be a weapon, but can he be the guy on an offense that's coming off a championship caliber level season? Did they win? No. Does Chase make them immediately a threat to return back to the Big 12 title? I don't know. I think he can be a great wide receiver. I just question whether or not he is wide receiver 1.
I get it. I think he can be. I think he has all the tools. He's got the quarterback. He's got the system. He might be a little bit smaller, but he plays big.
Yeah.
I think if you just look at his highlights and asked how tall he was, you would probably say 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
Not 6'1", 6'2". Plays good through contact, is good at shedding tackles, good at changing directions, making defenders miss. I think
he runs kind of out of control.
It's his limbs.
Yeah.
Right? He's got some wonky limbs. But
wonky limbs. Old wonky limbs here.
Old wonky limbs. Oh, can't wait to play him and be like, old wonky limbs.
Oh,
but
gosh.
I think he has every tool in the book. Maybe it doesn't translate. I wouldn't be shocked if I'm wrong, but I'm feeling pretty good about him stepping into that role. I don't think they're going to have 2 1,000-yard wide receivers.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think that he could definitely get close to that point. I would say anywhere from 850 to 1,000 would be where I'm expecting from him this year.
I could live with that. I do.
He still might not be as good though.
No.
He might not be as good as either of those players and still put up 1,000 yards.
Those were both NFL draft picks.
They got 1,000 yards together, right? They were playing with each other, and they each got 1,000 yards. Yeah. There's not going to be that same type of competition in that room, which means his 1,000 yards probably won't be equal to what a Higgins or Noel would have done for Iowa State last year. I'm not saying he'll be as good as those guys, but I do think that he can get close to those numbers.
I think that's absolutely fair. Look, we do have a number of players that we still want to get to. Moving on to Terrence Carter Jr., the new Texas Tech tight end. Who transferred over from
Louisiana.
the Raging Cajuns.
Great. Come on. Great team name.
It's a great team mascot. This kid was a lot of fun last season. He had 48 catches, 689 yards, 14.4 yards per reception, 4 touchdowns last year for the Raging Cajuns. I think this is a really solid fit at Texas Tech, right? You saw what they did with Jalen Conyers last year. And that offense, man, they knew how to move up and down the field. You plug and play a tight end with a lot of experience. I think it's a good fit. I think, again, kind of similar to every other player that we've discussed, there's the one but what if. He's not the biggest tight end in the world.
No.
Right? He would be certainly the smallest tight end if he were at Arizona State height-wise. I believe he is 6'2". But Terrence Carter Jr. is somebody that I think in that offense can really, really thrive at Tech, knowing that they've lost already a bunch of weapons.
You know that he's not big going into it. He's not small. But
no, he's definitely not small.
He's on the quicker side of things, and you are going to know how to use him. Texas Tech is going to have a very good team this year, and this type of tight end can be extremely dangerous because you're probably not going to use him to block down into the trenches that often, but like a quick little security blanket and somebody whose yak can be really, really high as well. I wouldn't put him at the top for like offensive breakout player of the year because I also think that love is going to be spread around on Texas Tech a little bit more than it might be on Iowa State. But I think that he will do well in kind of a hybrid tight end wide receiver type role because he does play like a wide receiver.
He does. He
got a lot of downfield targets at Louisiana. He was able to make guys miss. Doesn't play as much like your traditional
tight end,
bigger tight end.
Yeah, he plays like a modern day tight end.
Yeah, like a modern day tight end wide receiver.
But again, smaller than you'd like for a modern day tight end.
Right. I think the wide receiver tight end hybrid thing is kind of where I'm going with him. If he were to go to the next level, I think he'd have to go as a wide receiver. He couldn't go as a tight end.
Yeah, I think that's 100% fair. And in this offense, I think it's going to be it's like you said, Texas Tech's a good team, right? The expectation is Tech is going to be a really good team this year. So being able to watch, Terrence Carter Jr. in that offense, I think is going to be a treat, and I'm excited to see.
We play them.
I'm excited to see what the Red Raiders do this season. For some reason, I have just always said that Texas Tech has felt like the Arizona State of that conference before the Sun Devils went in.
Really?
Yeah. When we had, I don't know if it was you or Shane or whoever, when we had the conversation of like, okay, let's say the Pac-12 is like staying together, but you have to poach teams. I always said Texas Tech to the Pac-12 because it's not crazy distance. And like Arizona State and Texas Tech always have good games. Like the games that those two teams play are always competitive, and they're always really good. So
I the Arizona State of the Big 12.
Well, now Arizona State is the Arizona State of the Big 12. Look, that's just 4 of the 16 players that we have for you guys in terms of potential offensive breakout candidates in the Big 12. We've got 4 more on the other side of this break.
It's getting hot. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah, it is getting hot. I had to cut all my hair off because it was too damn hot. And if it's too damn hot outside at your home, but you don't want to give up your outdoor living space, well, guess what? You don't have to, because All Pro Shade Concepts is here for you. They're here for me. They're here for all of us.
For me too?
No. You are one of the few that All Pro Shade Concepts is not here for.
Bummer.
Anthony Totri, you are not allowed to extend your outdoor living space with a custom fit awning. You don't get to choose from the hundreds of designs and colors to match any home, but not yours. They work with your HOA, but not yours. They're trusted by you. They just don't trust you. An A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Number 1 by Ranking Arizona for patio shades in 2024 and over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. In business for 20 years in the Valley because they don't work for people like Anthony Totri. Call 623-204-1476. Just kidding. Even you can call that number or visit allproshadeconcepts.com right now to schedule your free estimate.
Look, everybody needs a checking account. Do you have a checking account?
Yes.
I also have a checking account. It's huge. It's huge for the program.
Ayrton's checking account?
Can confirm.
Of course.
Absolutely love it. Look, if you are in need of a checking account, or maybe you're just trying to change up your finances, well, call Mountain America Credit Union. Get the account with built-in benefits. Mountain America's My Style checking account has a ton of perks just for you. Take a look at everything that you can get. Restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, loan rate discounts, offers on travel and events, and so much more. Make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration/activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. You hit the subscribe button. And you get yourself some PHNX
What?
merch because Rubus, we have a deal going on. We still have a deal going on.
We didn't shut that down. We're not going out of business and losing money because you can get up to 75% off on our spring cleaning clearance sale.
Up to 75% off on already marked down sale items. I know you were on there the other day. You saw an ASU shirt for what, $8?
Yeah, the Daniel Nagata officially licensed
Unbelievable.
T-shirt. I actually brought that up on the Suns show.
Did you really?
Yeah, Daniel Nagata is going worldwide.
Dear Lord, guys, head over to Go PHNX. Last time I checked, he was at Washington. I don't know if he's still at Washington.
Anyway, you can get the PHNX Branded Bills collab for 30% off, just $30 for a wonderful hat, $24.49 for one of our favorite, the Taco Truck T-shirts. If you're a baseball fan, got a lot of great shirts for cheap. Ooh, the Defend the Pool tee is only $19.59.
So where do you go to get it though?
It's super complicated.
Super complicated.
You probably don't want to know.
I mean, but what if you told me anyways? Because just by the chance
you can
that
start
I
by going,
to get
you can start by going to gophnx.com.
Okay.
Right.
Let me do that right now. Actually,
GOPHNX.com.
I'm smarter than you, so I can spell.
Okay, lucky you.
Yeah.
Okay, big dog. Well, can you find the tab that says merch?
Yeah, it's the fourth one. What should I do after
you
that?
go all the way to the very bottom. You can click all merch.
Okay.
Right.
Clicked,
and then you're there.
Boom,
it's just that easy. Plus, I do believe you get an extra little discount if you're diehard as well. So, how about that? How about them apples? Know what? How about this?
Them shirts?
How about this? Don't buy any of it.
Don't
do it.
Is this?
Don't do it.
Is this reverse psychology?
Yeah, don't do it. We don't want you to buy any of our stuff for so cheap. I want you to pay full price.
Wow.
Yeah,
you're mean, dude. You're a mean guy.
You heard me.
You're a mean dude.
Why don't you go pay full price instead of saving up to 75% off? Huh? How about a $20 snapback for PHNX? No, I'd rather you pay the $35. Yeah.
Go now. Buy it.
Don't listen to him.
Rub it in Ruby's face.
Definitely don't tweet at me. Don't tweet at me. Oh, Erik, I bought an ASU shirt for cheap. Oh, I'd hate that. That would make me sick.
You need to pipe down, blind mouse.
Sick.
Calm yourself. Okay? It's time to talk about Carsen Ryan.
A hoodie for $33? Who's selling hoodies for $33?
That's cheaper than a normal t-shirt.
We're
not having a deal. That's crazy. You ready? You ready to talk football again, or you want to rant some more about the shirts?
Just please don't tweet at me that you got a shirt for a deal. It'll make me so mad. Almost as mad as if Carsen Ryan. I don't know. There's no transition there.
I'm sure there was. Carsen Ryan, your new BYU Cougars tight end, formerly of Utah, 10 catches, $113, and a touchdown last year. He didn't do much.
No, he had a great one-handed grab.
He didn't do much for Utah last year. But I think anytime you're talking about a guy that played tight end at Utah, two things. One, they always have great locks, always great flow. Carsen Ryan is no different. A great head of lettuce on him. And when you're talking about former Utah tight ends, you got to look at the pedigree, right? You had Dalton Kincaid, you had Brant Keithy, guys that went on into the NFL, were dominant pass catchers, dominant blockers for Utah, both in the Pac-12 and in the Big 12. And now you have Carsen Ryan leaving Utah for BYU, playing with Jake Retzloff. I think he has the potential as a 6'4" tight end, nearing 250 pounds, to be pretty special for BYU this year, but I think a lot of it really depends on the usage with him.
It's tough to tell when you have somebody who had such low usage. I mean, for a tight end, 11.3 yards per reception is great.
Yeah.
If you can get that out of him at a higher output, more than just 10 receptions, and you're loving that. From the little you see from him, he has pretty solid hands for somebody who's his size as well. You never really know. I mean, he apparently USA Today and most of the people who are doing the AP Top 25 think he's going to be the second coming of Jesus, because
is that what USA Today said?
I mean, how
else they rank BYU? Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yeah, because it's like, how else would BYU be so much better than ASU?
Yeah,
if Carsen Ryan doesn't step up to the plate. I wouldn't say offensive breakout player of like the year candidate
No.
for Carsen, Ryan. But
for
somebody,
BYU.
somebody to watch as far as if they become a weapon for BYU, that's going to be not a problem, but something to definitely keep an eye on.
Yeah, I would agree. And I don't want to spend too much time on Carsen, Ryan.
Me
Because
either.
We still have a lot of players to get through. Let's go ahead and move on to TCU. TCU quarterback Josh Hoover. The reason I'm throwing him on this list is because he had a really good year last year.
He was really good.
And nobody talked about it. Nobody wanted to talk about Josh Hoover.
I think he's a pro. I think he's a legitimate pro.
I think he's probably like a fourth round quarterback, probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's like a first rounder, but I think he has a chance to play himself in the top 3 rounds.
Potentially.
Year.
I mean, he completed 66.5% of his passes, nearly 4,000 passing yards. Had 39-49 in it through the air, 27 touchdowns to 11 INTs. Not really a dual threat quarterback. I guess
but he can sling that thing.
He can sling it. But to your question the other day, who could benefit the most from having Sam Levitt's legs surgically added?
Yeah, Josh
Hoover is probably on that list. Everyone want to talk about Sawyer Robertson. Everybody want to talk about Rocco Becht. And
rightfully so.
Rightfully so. But Josh Hoover was slinging it for the Horned Frogs last year.
Big 12 sneaky, really good quarterback conference.
Yeah.
Really good quarterback conference.
100%. This year, last year, down the line.
According to U of A fans, Noah Fafita's top 5 quarterback in the country.
Yeah. Well,
so.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Remember when we got so much crap for saying he wasn't top 10 in the country?
He wasn't even top. Yeah.
Don't. That's a year ago. That's a year ago. We've moved on, folks.
Whatever.
I think Josh Hoover's really, really good.
Now, you asked me earlier, could Devon Dampier, what's his ceiling and is he a top 5 quarterback? Could Josh Hoover be in that conversation? What's his ceiling and could he be a top 5 quarterback?
I think his ceiling is he doesn't have the legs, so that's one thing. I think he can play himself into being a top 4 quarterback at the Big 12.
Okay.
I think he can play himself into being a day 2 draft pick.
I agree.
He's your prototypical NFL guys are gonna drool all over themselves watching this guy play.
NFL guys are gonna drool over themselves?
Yeah.
Because he slings it.
Yeah, because he slings it. He looks good in shorts.
Clip it.
Clip it.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I am interested because there is not a lot of conversation around him. And there's a lot of conversation around Sawyer, which, again, rightfully so. I'm not surprised if somebody's higher on Josh Hoover than they are a Sawyer Robertson.
Yeah, I think that's totally valid, right? And they give you 2 different things. Josh Hoover is that air it out kind of guy, turned a couple wide receivers at TCU into pros just a season ago. This TCU offense was a big juggernaut a couple years back, right? When they went to the national championship game against Georgia. I think Josh Hoover can be a top 3 quarterback in this conference this year. It just depends on, did they replace the wide receiver talent that they had a year ago with new guys? Can they get a ground game going? It's something that they really struggled to do last year. One of the few Big 12 teams that just really couldn't get the rushing attack going. Sorry, Cam Cook. It just wasn't your year.
What a throwback.
If you know, you know. But ultimately, I think Josh Hoover can have a really good season at TCU. Moving on to another quarterback, somebody that everybody talks about instead of Josh Hoover, Sawyer Robertson. I know you've been really high on Sawyer. There were rumors that Tennessee was in the market to go get Sawyer after Nico Amalivia left them.
That would have been a good fit.
And Sawyer completed 62.2% of his passes a year ago, threw for a little over 3,000 yards, 3,071, so not as many as Hoover. Had 28 touchdowns, 8 INTs, also made a little bit of a difference on the ground, 63 carries, 230 yards, scampered to Pate 4 times last year.
I think Sawyer Robertson's really good. Because he didn't start the year as a quarterback.
No.
And having those numbers without starting the year as your quarterback is very impressive. I am curious to see just how good Baylor is this year. A lot of people talk about, was Arizona State a one-and-done team? Is Arizona State going to fall off? What about these teams that overperformed? A TCU, a Baylor, these 9-win teams that nobody really expected to be in the top half.
The Big 12 was so fun last year.
It was really weird.
It was fun.
Utah, Oklahoma State,
Arizona.
all at the bottom. I mean, that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, but they won 10 games a year prior.
It's true. Yeah. Wow. U of A defender.
I'm not a U of A defender. When you're talking about teams that underperformed, I want to make sure we throw them in there.
No, they're definitely in there. It makes more sense than a Utah or an Oklahoma State,
it does. It absolutely does. What do you like about Sawyer's game, and what makes you think that he can be an elite quarterback in this conference?
He can deliver the ball into really tight tight pockets.
Yeah.
Which I think is extremely impressive. The mobility thing is something I'm interested to see if he can improve upon, because there's something there. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's like a great asset and a great weapon of his, but he makes great quick reads. He's got a nice deep ball as well. He's your prototypical quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's a good one. I want to see out of him maybe a little bit getting the ball out a little quicker with your decision making. Don't shitter Sanders it and hold on to the ball for about 15 and a half minutes. So that's one of the things I'd want to see out of him, but he makes great decisions. He doesn't turn the ball over a crazy amount. He can use his legs. He's not afraid to run. Big body.
6'4".
Yeah.
He's lean. He's lengthy.
Yeah.
Everything you want in a quarterback. Does well in those spread
How
offenses.
many quarterbacks get drafted out of it? Is he draft eligible next year? How many quarterbacks get drafted out of
I believe he
Big
is
12
draft eligible
next year?
Yeah.
I think
he's older
Hoover-
than Sam. to be
I think
honest with
Hoover
you.
could get drafted. I think Sawyer could get drafted. Obviously, Sam Levitt could get drafted.
Avery Johnson.
Maybe Avery Johnson, depending on the year that he has. If the Devon Dampier cuts down on the turnovers.
I don't know if he's old enough. I
and
don't know
Devon
if Devin's
Dampier?
old enough.
I thought he was a little bit older.
He could be. He's just small, so I think that he's younger.
Yeah, Sawyer's been in college since 2021.
Yeah, Sawyer's
he's
eligible.
older. You could see.
Devon Dampier's only 20.
I
so.
think a team drafts Sorsby in like the 7th round.
Well, we'll talk about it. Don't worry.
I know.
We'll get this.
You could see 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the Big 12 get drafted.
I think
year.
you easily see at least
Rocco,
Sam,
Sawyer,
Josh,
Hoover,
maybe Jalen Daniels balls out.
Avery Johnson.
Do we want to? Is it too early in the year to start talking about Jalen Daniels being good?
I'm going to be honest with you. I've sold my Jalen Daniels stock.
You sold it?
I've sold it.
Oh no!
I sold it.
I got a
terrible price.
We got robbed.
I bought. To be fair, I bought low because he was injured, and then I sold lower.
Yeah.
It was
we
tough.
were both in that boat.
We were definitely like, oh, could he be one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12? No.
Spoiler, he wasn't. He
could not
one of
actually.
I mean, down the stretch, he was fun. Him and Devin Neal, they helped out
That
ASU.
Kansas team was so weird.
It was very weird. Lance Leipold is just, he coached a weird year.
Where were we watching that BYU? Was that BYU Kansas that we were watching when BYU choked? And we were out at a bar?
Yeah,
And
but
we
that
were
was
freaking
after
out.
what game? was it after the Kansas State game?
It was like ASU had won.
And then
So
we
you
went out to the bar.
And then we went out to the bar because it was me, you, and Kyle with meeting up with everybody from
with
work.
everybody.
And then we're all gathered around Shane's phone watching BYU just absolutely suck it up.
I don't remember what week that was, but man, it was fun. Moving on from 2 really talented quarterbacks to a really talented running back. A guy that I'm going to be completely honest, I wanted Arizona State to get.
Yeah, we just
beat
Kansas State.
We had just beat Kansas State, and BYU had played
Kansas that night. Yeah.
Ismail Mahdi.
Dude.
This one hurts. This one hurts to talk
Great
about.
pickup for the Wildcats.
Their best addition that
Honestly,
they've had.
I don't feel like they've talked about him
I
enough.
don't think so either.
I don't think I've heard a lot
but
of people
wanna
talk
know
about
something?
him.
You want to know something?
No.
They just don't know ball the way we know ball. So when they see Ismail Mahdi like week 1, week 2, and they're like, dude, this is a dog. We can go back to this show and all the other shows that we did months ago saying, hey,
this guy's
Ismail Mahdi's a problem, right? Because we saw Ismail Mahdi against Arizona State at Texas State, and he had a really good game. He was, I believe, the Sun Belt Player of the Year a couple years back. Last year, in terms of statistics, it was down just a tad at Texas State. 183 carries, 991 rushing yards, average 5.4 yards per carry, which is really solid for a running back. 4 touchdowns, so didn't find the end zone too many times. He had 24 catches for 195 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. So this is a guy that can really do it all for you. Again, Ismail Mahdi is a problem. Those numbers may not scream that, but the year prior to last...
watch him. Those numbers won't scream anything when you watch him play.
2023, he had 1,331 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns on the ground. He's a monster. He's a monster of a running back. He's smaller. He's 5'9", $180, but he plays so much bigger than that. He plays fast. He is very elusive. I think, again, this was a home run addition for any team that got him. So it sucks that it was the Wildcats.
Yeah, it's kind of going to be pretty pretty disappointing to see him
Have
play
a down
away
year.
for like a 3-win team.
Yeah. It is good.
Brent Brennan's gonna ruin Ismail Mahdi.
Please don't, Brent.
Don't do it, Brent.
Don't ruin him.
Don't do it, Brent.
Nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves that. Will saying Ismail would be RB3 or 4 on ASU this year. Kanye is bigger with the same speed.
Not the same speed.
Ishmael's quicker. I think Ismail is 100% quicker. And I disagree. I think Ismail Mahdi, they wouldn't have added Kanye if they would have got Mahdi. So I think you added Kanye because he's a bigger back, right? And you already have similar sized running backs like Ismail Mahdi at ASU, right? And a guy like Raleek, Jason Brown, you already have those statures in the backfield, so you wouldn't necessarily need to add another one. I get why you go add a bigger dude like Kanye. But can you believe it? We've got 8 players down.
We got a couple more
and
for you.
We've got 8 players to accomplish in 15 minutes.
I don't think I could talk about those other 8 for as long as we talked about the first 8, so I think that's just fine.
Well, look, before we get to the final 8, we are going to take our final break.
Bars?
It's what I do. Drop bars. Here's a bar for you. You do you at Gila River
Okay,
Resorts
big dog.
and Casinos. Go check them out. Whether you want to win money on the gaming floor, maybe you want a nice steak dinner, a staycation, whatever it is, go check out Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Any one of their just amazing casinos. My personal favorite is Wild Horse Pass.
Yeah.
I've been there the most. We have a lot of PHNX events that go on over there. So highly recommend you guys go check that out. But look, experience the thrill of live sports over at the BetMGM Sportsbooks at Gila River Resorts Casinos. From the NBA playoffs, the French Open, to even UFC 315, they show it all. Place your bets, grab a bite, and watch every play on the massive screens. Look, last verse, same as the first. You do you at Gila River Resorts Casinos.
Wow.
Visit playatgila.com for more details.
I mean, look at you. You're just really good at what you do. You want to know why? Because you care.
Facts.
You need to get people who care, just like our friends over at Empire Today. Because Empire Today, well, they actually care about flooring. They actually care about you. That's just
They
what
care about me?
That's just what Empire
Wow.
does. Because
That's
they
special, bro.
They know
It's got
that
me moving in my chair like this.
they know that flooring is an investment. They know that you have to actually take time out of your day to pick out the right flooring, which is why they're going to come to you instead of making you walk through a big box store. Oh, what the hell's going on? I'm walking around. Oh, I'll pick this out, I guess. Nobody's really here to help me. You go check out. It's way more expensive than you expect. And then they're like, all right, you can either install it yourself or we'll come by and help you install in like 4 to 8 years. No, thank you. Empire Today, you can schedule a free in-home estimate and get next day installation. Schedule that today because some things are just better at home. PHNX listeners can also receive a $350 off discount when using promo code PHNX. That's right, $350 discount with promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/PHNX for full details.
Boom. Everybody wants us to talk about the Josh Pate comment.
No.
You don't want to talk about it?
No.
Wow.
No. I'm thinking that might be a nice little mini pod.
I think we.
We could touch on it real quickly and maybe get into more
yeah,
depth.
you didn't see it. Josh Pate. We went through.
I always want to call him Josh Pate.
Yeah. You ruined it.
My bad, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, what did Pate say?
So he did his top 20 the other day, which we mentioned on the show. But in a separate clip, he had called Arizona State America's team, right?
Correct.
They're still a major program, but they're not an SEC or a Big Ten. They're not a Clemson. They're not, an Oregon. They're not an independent like a Notre Dame, but they've got fun players. They've got a fun coach that you can root for. They were the underdog story from a year ago, and then you look forward to this year, right? Everybody in the conference, it's no secret that Arizona State is what it is, right? So now all these other teams hunting the Sun Devils in 2025, yet it feels like a team that you can still root for in every way, right? Josh mentioned that this was a program that was left for dead a couple years ago with the whole Herm and Ray situation.
What happened there?
We don't want to get too deep into that.
Herm Edwards didn't work out?
No, not even at all.
But it was a pro-style model.
Yeah. Well, the CEO failed.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he got up early.
He did get up early.
And he liked to work out. I don't get it. How did that not work out?
It's just pain.
Where have I been?
Pain. pain. Take the glasses off. That's
there's somebody who is like watching or listening for the first time. Is like, this dude's an idiot.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, he called them America's team, and I think that is beautiful.
Tears in your eyes.
Yeah, they are America's team.
They genuinely, like, not even biased BS. They are.
Nah, it's a W take, right?
They
right?
absolutely are.
He's saying. I mean, I don't know how you can not. I mean, if you loved Cam Skattebo, which everybody did,
yeah,
and now you look and you're like, okay, Sam, Jordan, Kenny, it's like, you can't not root for these guys, man.
You can. You want to know why? Because you like another Big 12 team and they're running rampant.
But even other Big 12 teams are like,
it's true.
It's even true. U of A fans are like,
yeah, I know. U of A fans,
they're
like,
Coach,
Kenny.
Stop being so awesome.
You smoke too tough.
We're supposed to hate you.
You're
right?
fit too hard. You're smoke too tough. Kenny, stop it.
Like, even the people in this office, the U of A fans
Dude,
talk
they
about
love
that.
him. They love him.
Can't will. Not gonna read that,
brother.
one.
Back to offensive breakout players.
Emmanuel Henderson, come on down.
This is like a pedigree pick because he has not done a lot, but he's a former 5-star,
former Alabama transfer, which Arizona State has one of those.
That's true. Yeah, he had a big catch against Georgia, but only 4 receptions for 82 yards on the season. This is betting on pedigree.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Jalen Daniels' new top target.
I don't know about top target, but a weapon at least.
He's absolutely a weapon. Let's get to a guy that I know you're.
That's Emmanuel Henderson.
That's Emmanuel Henderson. Let's get. Well, what do you want? 4 catches, 82 yards, man. Hasn't played a lot. Let's get to a guy that you are pretty high on.
Yeah, I actually am really high on
Dylan Edwards over at Kansas State, the running back. What do you like about him? 74 carries, 546 yards on the ground last year. 7.4 yards per carry, which is way above average. 5 touchdowns, also a threat in the receiving game as well. I believe he's dealt with some injuries over the course of his college career thus far. But what makes Dylan Edwards special?
Love his vision. I think he makes really good, quick decisions. If you watched the Kansas State U of A game, he was the one who returned the kick from there. So he's potent in that game as well. He's a small guy. He's skinny. He's only 5'9", 167. So I don't know if he's
Raleek Brown.
I don't know if he's your workhorse type of back. Right. So maybe he won't get the amount of touches considering the injury factor and everything along with it. But the way that he runs, he makes quick cuts. He avoids and sheds tackles. I'm a little surprised by seeing 167. He's tiny. I didn't think he was that small. He might be a little bit bigger than that because we know that those are not always accurate.
Over at ESPN?
Just in general. And so I really, really liked his game. He didn't get a ton of work, but he did in their bowl game against Rutgers. 196 yards, 18 carries, 2 touchdowns, long of 65. He's had some pretty big breakout games, and he's got some pretty big runs as well. Was it when they played Colorado?
He used to play for Colorado.
Yeah, he used to. Yeah, he scored against Colorado this year. He seems like the type of running back that's going to break off some big plays. I like his vision. I like where he's at. I think he'll have a lot of opportunity at Kansas State.
Yeah, and DJ Giddens is gone now, right? Yeah. DJ Giddens over to the NFL, so there's definitely a hole for the starting running back. And that's not just at Kansas State. That's at a number of places now in this conference.
RJ Harvey,
Ollie
Gordon. Sorry, the ghost of Ollie Gordon.
Devin Neal.
Texas Tech guy slipped in my mind.
Taj Brooks. Corey Kiner. A lot of holes to fill in the backfield for these Big 12 teams. Moving on from Dylan Edwards. Cam Vaughn, new wide receiver over at West Virginia. Transferred from Jacksonville State. Had a big year last year. 48 catches, 803 yards through the air in 5 touchdowns. He was a true freshman in 2024 as a Jacksonville State Gamecock. 6'2", buck 90.
They're the Gamecocks?
I believe they are. The Gamecocks. Yes, they are the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. Really, really strong year last year as a freshman. Excited to see what he does now in a major conference. You're not playing at a smaller school now. You're playing in the Big 12.
According to Ray Anderson, you're playing at a terrible school.
Similar to the argument, though, that we had with Chase, right? Coming from East Carolina and Iowa State. It's a different ball game now.
I think it's a little bit different with Cam Vaughn because of the infrastructure around West Virginia. It kind of feels like it's going to be a down year for them. They just got Rich Rod.
It was supposed to be a down year last year.
I know, but and they weren't great last year.
No,
but with Chase jumping in at Iowa State, you've got Rocco back You have your offensive line, you have your coaching staff, you're in a system that produced 2,000-yard wide receivers. It's a lot easier for a guy like Chase to step in. Now, if Cam Vaughn went to Iowa State, I would probably be saying the same thing I said about Chase. I can see this guy putting up 1,000 yards this year. He has really good hands.
Better numbers, by the way, than Chase did.
Yeah, better numbers for sure. He has really good hands. Really good hands. Because when he was catching over at Jacksonville State, not a lot of consistency to where that ball was placed. And he was catching it down low. He was going up high. He was keeping it like close to the body. If it was in the
he's
bread
got really
basket.
good body control.
Yeah, he's a very good wide receiver. I'm a little upset that he's going to West Virginia. I feel like he would have been.
He could have been better somewhere else.
He could have been in a better spot, but he's good, and he might be one of the lone bright spots on West Virginia this year. And I think he can put up some pretty nasty numbers if the offense is just funneled through him.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that you are going to have to feed, and I think they will. I think you'll certainly see at points when the year's going on, you're
they're
checking,
actually able to.
You're
do
like,
it.
you're checking the box score. And you're like, Cam Vaughn had how many catches for how many yards?
Yeah.
Right, and West Virginia still lost by 20. Like that's what it's going to be like, right? And it's also you expect West Virginia to probably play from behind in a number of games this year, which is ultimately going to definitely stat pad for Cam Vaughn at a certain point. But another wide receiver with big shoes to fill, Draylon Miller, wide receiver over at Colorado. He had 32 catches for 277 yards and 3 touchdowns last year. Obviously, no more Travis Hunter. They lost. The second wide receiver's name.
They had a couple wide receivers drafted. I think they're the most.
My name.
They had the most wide receivers drafted out of any school.
Really,
this past year. Yeah,
interesting. More than Ohio State.
I guess Ohio State only had 3. I think Colorado had 3.
What's the dude's name? I always forget it.
Isn't like a
Webster or something.
It's like an X, like Xavier Webster or something like that.
Something Webster, man. I don't know. It always.
I mean, yeah, big shoes to fill in Colorado, but also big shoes to fill at the quarterback position as well. Is it going to be the Liberty quarterback? Is it going to be their 5-star that they were able to have as well? Yeah. Shocker of the year. Colorado fans are really high on this guy. They think he's going to be the next
freshman last year.
The next big thing. I think he'll be good. I'm a little worried about, again, with the infrastructure around him, how good is that team going to be? How good is the offensive line going to be to where the quarterback either playing from Liberty to a Big 12 level or a 5-star freshman playing college football for the first time? How are you able to produce? But if you become the security blanket, then that could be a very big deal for Miller. Definitely going to see a large uptick in his receptions and his yards. I don't know if he's as good as a Cam Vaughn or a Chase Sowell, but I think he's definitely going to be, as far as difference in production from year 1 to year 2, he'll definitely be up there.
Peace with the Webster's Dictionary comment. Look, while you're talking about a wide receiver that's going to see an uptick in catches, touchdowns, and yards, how about maybe your favorite wide receiver in this conference? And that is, of course, Dwayne Lofton, new wide receiver over, I guess not new wide receiver, but a wide receiver at Oklahoma State.
Played college football for like 7 years at this point and doesn't have a single highlight on YouTube.
6 catches, 140 yards, 23.3 yards per catch last year for Oklahoma State. You are right. He has played a lot of college football, I think going back to, 2021. He is a guy that now with Deshaun Stribling gone, with Brennan Presley gone, I believe Brennan Presley's gone, you now have immediately a gaping hole at the wide receiver position. And Dwayne Lofton is a guy that I think can be the guy to try and fill that, just because he's an experienced guy. I think Oklahoma State's going to have another bad year.
Yeah.
But this is a guy that you've played so much college football. It's time to be good.
Time to be good.
It's time to be good.
Hey, man. Have you tried being good?
Once you've done something, though, for like 5-6 years, you should probably be pretty damn good at it.
I don't think I've done anything for 5 to 6 years that I'm still bad at. Genuinely. And can you name something you've been doing for 5 to 6 years that you're still bad at?
No, because if you wouldn't be doing it anymore.
I would have given up by now.
Yeah, I guess that's
would
fair.
have been in college terms, gotten a job.
Dwayne Lofton, not the only guy that's going to see an uptick. Jaden York, new tight end over at Houston. 5 catches.
Sorry, once again. Who?
5 catches for 31 yards a year ago.
Bro, 5 catches for 31 yards is criminal.
Yeah.
That he's on this list.
Well, it's better than what he did in 2023.
That's not a compliment.
3 catches for 30 yards.
Okay, can we talk about some real candidates?
He's big. Look, okay, Jaden York, he can do it.
Dude, awesome.
6'4", 245. don't sleep on Jaden York.
I will sleep on Jaden York.
Brendan Sorsby, the man everybody loves to hate.
Before we get to Brendan Sorsby, if you are watching on TV, the party always continues with lots of Brendan Sorsby talk over at gophnx.com.
Brendan Sorsby, the man that everybody hates for some reason at quarterback.
I don't think he's that bad.
I don't think he's that bad either.
I think it's funny to make fun of him.
Completed 64% of his passes, threw for a little more than 2,800 yards last year, 18 touchdowns, 7 INTs. You're like, it's not a lot of yards. It's not a ton of touchdowns. Well, he had 9 touchdowns on the ground, nearly 500 rushing yards. I really don't know why people don't like this guy. I get Cincinnati didn't have the greatest year in the world. He looked really good against Arizona State when these two teams played a year ago.
He's a beautiful deep ball.
Yeah, he didn't turn the football over that much either. So they didn't have a ton of weapons, not named Corey Kiner at Cincinnati last year. So I would say cut the dude some slack. I think Brendan Sorsby is going to be a better quarterback than people think this year.
He's going to be a top blank quarterback in the Big 12.
7.
Better than Jalen Daniels.
Well, let's count.
Better than Noah Fafita.
So let's do what Kevin did for an entire show yesterday, real quick.
30 seconds.
In less than that.
Okay, Sam Levitt 1.
Sam Levitt, Rocco Becht, let's say Avery Johnson, Sawyer Robertson, Josh Hoover, Devon Dampier, Brendan Sorsby.
And then,
am I missing anybody?
And then
he's better than Jalen Daniels.
Noah Fafita.
He's better than Noah Fafita. He's better
Texas
than
Tech quarterback Baron Morton.
He's
fine.
He's fine too.
Yeah,
he's maybe 8.
Ooh, he's fine.
He's not fine. He's fine. He's fine.
He's fine.
Big difference in fine and fine. Okay, there is. Would you agree though?
This is such a Friday ass. This whole day has felt like a Friday.
Will gets it. He's saying Sorsby's top 7 quarterback in the Big 12. I put out my quarterback ranking at Ralph's Supplies the other day.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, get on it, dude.
My bad, man.
Get on it. Would you agree though that he's top 7,
turn the
top
tweet
8?
Notifications on? Yeah, I think he's good. I think he'll get drafted late.
Yeah,
like 7th round by the Seahawks.
He screams like New York Jets 7th round pick.
Ooh, yeah.
Bringing it home with Taven Jackson, new quarterback at UCF. Didn't do a lot last year. Completed 62.2% of his passes, 349 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 INT. The reason he didn't do a lot last year is because he was the backup quarterback over at Indiana, a team that had a really, really good year.
Yeah.
A college football playoff type of year. This is a team in UCF that had a lot of question marks at the end of the year, right? Coach, running back's gone. Who's our quarterback? What are we doing? And they went and added this guy in the portal. It's not the foregone conclusion that he's a starter, but I think if he is a starter, a dude with a winning pedigree, he's been around a winning program, you got a new coach over at UCF. I think this kid can really steer the ship for UCF in 2025.
We'll see. And there's a lot of potential there, but that's just what that is, which is potential. I can't give you a strong take, except for I've seen some of his basketball highlights too. Wicked behind the back pass.
Really?
Yeah, really good. On the dot.
Love that. Any other thoughts, comments, concerns, jokes, gripes that you have before we get out of here?
Gripes, that's a good question. Yeah, why isn't Noah Fafita on this list? He's one of the best quarterbacks ever.
Guys, that's going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils Show. Hit that like button and the subscribe button on your way out. If you listen on audio, we appreciate you. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. And if you enjoyed today's content, give the show a follow on social at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the blind mouse over here, the man who loves Dwayne Lofton.
And I hate it when you buy shirts.
At Erik Ruby, that's Erik with a K. You could follow Eriton at Freckled Mamba on social, and we'll be back on Wednesday. But as always, go Devils, and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.